Well, believe it or not, this actually came as a kit. Now, I don't know if you are aware, I haven't been posting on this channel very much recently, and I've been really struggling with my mental health. And as my members on my other channel will know, I feel I lost all my mojo. So what I did was I ordered 2 kits. I thought that'll help me get my crafting thing together. So I sent away for these, which is this month's craft. And I ordered 2 kits. I ordered this one and the air dry clay one, which comes in with loads of bits. But you know what I'm like. I don't want to be ripped off. So I did a quick calculation of how much this would cost me if I was to buy all this separately. And it came to £36.48 to buy it all separately. And to buy it from their website, it actually cost $35.97. So with the shipping, it was about the same sort of price because I did this in pounds. And this one comes with 2 pieces of lime wood, which is ideal for carving. It comes with a really good knife and a sheath for it as well. Be careful, this is very sharp. Obviously it needs to be. It comes with some safety tape, some polishing wax, a little piece of leather for stropping, a piece of polishing compound, quite a bit of sandpaper as well if you want to sand it, and full guide instructions. Now you wouldn't get this or the templates anywhere else. So these are in addition to the prices, and it does come wonderfully packed as well. So I think it is great value, especially as it's going to help me get some of my mojo back and get back into my crafting. I will link it at the end if anyone's interested. They've got quite a few packages in there as well. There's different things that you can buy, and they're always adding to it as well. So it makes a great gift. So first thing I need to do, obviously, is read the instructions. You get 2 lots of this in case you mess up. So what I'm going to do is cut these out. You don't cut out the actual shape, you just cut out the little square with a pair of scissors like that. Now this isn't my first rodeo where wood carving is concerned, but I'm certainly not expert at it without any shadow of a doubt. So this is the one here that you put to one side for the next step, and I know that because I read ahead in the instructions, which is something I don't very often do. So that leaves you with these 2 pieces, and obviously you want the head to be at the same end like that. So I need to align those on the side like that and glue them on, and I'm going to use good old Pritt stick to glue this on with because it's quick drying and it won't mark or anything the wood. And this is really simple to follow instructions, which is important for me. And now what I'm going to do is going to put this to one side and let that dry. I mean, you could go over it with a hairdryer if you wanted to and let that and get that to dry quicker. I want it to be on there really quite firmly to start with. So I'll give that an hour or so. So while that is drying, what I'm going to do is quickly just strop my knife, because often when brand new knives come, they're not stropped, and that will help extend the life of your knife and keep it lovely and sharp. I'm going to put that on my leather like that, the little polish. And now taking my knife, I'm going to hold it at an angle, and you want to keep it at the same angle all the time. And I'm just going to run from tip to base at that angle. And you'll find this works really well. Works well on all knives and blades, to be honest. The old barbers used to do it when they use cutthroats. I'm not that skilled, so I'm doing this quite slow. And you can do this periodically throughout, and it'll help put an edge to that knife. Because what'll happen is, a blade is like that, so it's all nice and pointed. And the more you use it, that tip, that blade part gets spread out like that. And then when you strop it, you're bringing it back into that shape. You might not be able to see it by eye, but believe me, that is what's happening. If it gets far, if you're doing a lot and it gets really blunt, then you can just get yourself an oil stone and give it a sharpen and then strop it after you've done that. I would imagine that is going to be quite sharp now. Now I haven't got my safety stuff on, but I am going to show you. Look at that. Look how easy that is carving. Don't take too much off at one time either. But I'll show you that in a second. Let's put this blade guard back on. Put this in here so it doesn't dry out. So that's all nice and dry on there now. So I've got my pattern on there that I can start using. Now, safety first. Pop on some of this tape. Wrap it around your thumb. Now, this isn't sticky at all. It kind of sticks to itself. It's a bit Velcro-ish. But please use it. And if you've got some safety gloves, use those instead. And you can still bend your fingers with this, like that. And you can reuse it as well. It is reusable a few times. So let's get our knife. And the important thing is, always cut with the grain. Don't try and cut against the grain, because if you cut against the grain, you're going to likely split the wood and it's a lot more difficult. The other thing is, use small whittling pieces. So take pieces like that sort of size. So take small pieces and try and cut away from you as well. I mean, there are going to be times when you're going to cut towards yourself because, I don't know, it feels natural sometimes to cut like that. But that is how you're going to cut yourself. So there's no reason why you can't keep cutting away from yourself and along the grain. You don't need to rush this. You could sit outside in the sun and really enjoy yourself. Make sure you don't go over the lines that are there. Cut to those lines. There we go. Look, can you see there? I've cut to that line. And then if I cut to that line this side as well, in the same way, I can then even up all this here and cut this out. Trying to curve it round because obviously it isn't going to be flat. It's a bird's head after all. So I'm using this thumb here to push that forward. I'm letting the knife do the work. I'm not trying to put all my weight into it or anything like that. This is such a great little beginner's kit. And by doing it this way, you are far less likely to cut yourself. So now we've got that bit done. I can see I'm not completely even all the way around. So I'm just going to even that up a little bit. And now I'm going to finish off this stage by chunking, what I consider to be chunking out. So doing that same thing, removing all that and removing all this wood up to that line. We can put details into it when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get rid of all this, get rid of this, get rid of this bit, and then I'll show you what to do next. So my advice would be clean up as you go, and that's what I've been doing. Because if not, you just get you get these wood bits everywhere. If you're working outside in the garden, then I don't suppose it matters so much. So now I've got to that stage where it's all cut out, but quite roughly. And I don't want it any more than that at this stage. So now I can go back to my instructions. I've got my bird sitting up the right way. And now what I need to do is place this on here in the same way. And what I'll be using again is good old prick stick. And then I can let that dry. I want that in the middle there, because now this is what we're going to cut into. So once that's dry, we can start removing all this now. You do want to keep an eye on this a tiny bit the size, but really what we're doing is we're carving into this back to give it its shape. So we want to keep it in this sort of shape and get all these bits out. Like this, going round. Now you might think, oh, my pattern isn't wide enough, but it is wide enough because you want to have this bit rounded. So that gives you that extra material down these sides here to get that nice and rounded. And now it's just a case of getting rid of all this material. Take it slow, you don't need to rush. Unlike myself, who really didn't quite wait until the pattern had dried on there. But I really just wanted to get on with it. And I have to say, this is helping with my mojo and my general mood as well. There is no doubt about that. It's nice to not have to think about preparing a craft and have one already done for you and just to be able to get on with it. And something different as well. As you're getting up to those lines, make sure that you're taking smaller pieces and kind of whittle it away like this. Now I stropped this knife before I started this section and it really has made a great difference. As you get to them lines, just take smaller pieces. And don't forget, you have got a picture here of what you want it to look like as well. So you can look at that and think, well, do you know what? That's where the head is. So I'm going to take in a little bit here and give that a bit more of a hump on its back or whatever. So, you know, you've got a line here that you can cut down to as well to give that a bit more shape. But if you're not confident in that, wait until you've done the final bit of your patterns before you start putting in details. You can already start to see that it's really taking shape now into the shape of a bird. And it's surprising how quickly you can get rid of it and get that shape. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out the rest of that rough shape. So now I've got that into a bird shape and I've got really it's quite rough. So what I can do now is, and what I'm going to do now is, looking at this picture here, I'm going to go around with some very light strokes like this and just smooth it out and get it into the bird shape. It's where your little bit of creativity comes in. Your rough shape's there, but now you can get your bird shape going on. Also, the head is massive, and I don't want the head that big. So I'm following that line there, and I'm going to do what is called a V cut here. So I'm going to go in here a few times like this, along the same line, and then come down onto that cut. And then I can take out that material there, and it will stop where I put that line. And I've done that all the way around. And that way I can put the neck of the bird in at quite a good angle, like that, and take out quite a bit of material here and then round off the back here. So just go down in there with your knife and then you bring your cut onto that. Gently, you don't need to do it hard, and then obviously that will stop there. And then you can smooth it out. You could go in there now, if that was as deep as you want it. I want to make the head a little bit smoother, and I can now smooth that out like that. And that means I can now start to get a smaller head going on, and I can also start to give it more of a back here of a head. I've had a lovely afternoon carving this out, and now that is as carved out as my skill set will allow me to do. I'm sure people can do more and get a lot more detail in it, carve the wings out and all that sort of thing, but you do it as much as you want to do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this tape off, because I no longer need this on, because I'm not actually going to do any more carving to it. Now, you could leave it like that and wax it like that, which is quite rustic, but I am going to go over and give it a bit of a sanding. And I'm going to start off with quite a rough sandpaper and just go over this. Now, be careful with this type of wood because it sands really easily. And I don't want it to be completely smooth. I still want to have some of the rusticness in there, but not quite as much as I've got. But you sand away as much as you want and have it as smooth as you want to have it if you're doing this. It really has made me feel good. Lovely afternoon. Very cheery now. So I've sanded that down as much as I want to sand that down. I'm just going to give it a quick dust over before I put any wax on it. I think that's come out quite cute so far. Maybe the head's a bit of a funny shape, but there we go. Now, if I wanted to, I could put some wings in there and put some definition around there for the wings. And that would be quite easy to do. All I would need to do is take my knife like this and cut into it along that line, like that. And then smooth it all out. I wouldn't want to go too deep with this. And I should have the tape on, really, if I'm doing this. So I have carved some wings into it. I thought, actually, I really like that. And I give it a little bit of a sand down. They were so easy to do. And now what I'm going to do is apply this wax quite liberally on here. And not only will this protect it, but it will also give it a really nice colour and shine. Soak into that wood and it'll expose the grain a lot more than if you hadn't put the wax on. And it'll also bring up, if you've not sanded it completely smooth because you wanted to see some of those lovely little cuts in it that you've made, it will bring out some of those. And when you've finished with this project, you've still got a whole piece of wood left. So you could do another bird, or if you wanted to, you could try something else, different design. You've still got your knife, you've still got your wax, you've still got your strop. You've got everything else. You can do loads of projects with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that now to soak in, and then I'll give it a buff. And then once I've given it a buff, I'll show you what it looks like. Finished. So that's been soaking in there for about 15 minutes. And now what I'm going to do is give it a good polish. Well, there we go. That's all finished now. I think, as you will agree, it's polished up really well. I love the way that that's come out. I do enjoy it. It was so relaxing. A great little kit. Everything that you need in it. I will link it in the description below in case you're interested. There's a lot of kits on there that might interest you. And I think this was good value for money. And it's really helped me as well. It's helped me not have to think about what to make. It's helped me have a go at something. And it's also helped me to just get on with the craft and not have to worry too much. I'm sure that experienced carvers out there would look at this bird and think, well, that head don't look right. There's something not right with that head. But I don't mind. I think it's come out really pretty. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed doing it. Boom that like button, hit that subscribe button. But most of all, enjoy your crafting. Take care. Bye.